Welcome, welcome. It's really hard to breathe with this nose on. But we're paying it forward. This is from Carol Steinbrecher. I don't know if you all know that name or not, but Carol's one of our teachers at ETADC. We just got home last night. Oh, and in cooperation with taking care and helping to feed the needy children of our country, we want you all to know about the Red Nose event. It's on May 21st. May 21st this month, you can go to Walgreens, the corner of Happy and Healthy, and buy a nose for $1. And the nose will benefit children who are in poverty, and it will help feed them. So we wanted to share that with you tonight. But just beware, when you wear the nose, it totally cuts off your breathing. You can't breathe through your nose. You have to breathe through your mouth. But anyway, so thanks to Carol for that. We really appreciate it. We had a wonderful weekend in DC. There's times I say to myself, why do I do these shows? And when I do these shows, I know why I do these shows. I do them for you ladies. I do them for the camaraderie, the get-togethering, and as we talked this weekend, there's so many different ways to get information today. There is the internet, and there's lots and lots of information available on the internet. I don't think there's anything that compares to the camaraderie of getting together with one another in a sewing event. We had just had a great weekend. We just really had a great weekend. So we are about to get ready to announce our ETA New York, New Jersey. We call it New York, New Jersey because the ladies in New York said, you're not in New York, you're in New Jersey, you got to call it what it is. So we said, okay, fine, we'll call it New York/New Jersey. It actually is right on the edge of Manhattan, but it is technically in New Jersey. But anyway, we're getting ready to announce that show. Sign-ups will start. And our ETA California, we are excited to announce because we have signed a contract with the Hyatt Hotel in Anaheim. And we had quite a horrible situation last year when the Hyatt was taken over by another hotel. And we're excited that it will be at Hyatt Anaheim. And that's October 16th, the weekend of that. So ETAs are important. I think they're really important to get together and to see one another. And so hopefully you can mark calendars. We have them in major cities so that they're really easy to get to, inexpensive to fly to. We try to make them close to an airport so you can just shuttle to the airport, no rental car. You can stay the whole weekend there. And they're just really a lot of fun. So anyway, for all those ladies who went, for all the teachers, thanks for really a great weekend. All right, so welcome. We haven't been here in a while. We miss you. We get many emails that say you miss us. We miss you likewise. I like doing this. I like the push of having to come up with new ideas. I like the deadlines. I like all that stuff. Some of you say to me, do you like that? I do. I really do like it. And when you'll see the benefit of what I get out of this tonight, I mean, you'll understand why I like it. I'm just so excited about the new things I've made. And again, I just push myself to different levels, and it's for these webcasts. So I appreciate that you're watching. I appreciate that you're here. So let's get to it. In our format, traditionally what we do is we ask questions and answer questions and try to help you along in your sewing in your home so that you can get better, so that you can more enjoy what you do. That's really our goal here at Silhouette Patterns. All right. So the first question is, I want to make 519 Mia's ruffle top, pulled in closer around the shoulders and the neck. When I pull the elastic tighter, the sleeve armhole is too high up. What's the best way to fix this? Pull it. The good news is it's too high up. Pull it to where you want it, and then just go ahead. Don't finish the armholes, and then once you've pulled it and tightened the elastic, just go ahead and drop those armholes as low as you want them to be. There's no sleeve in there, or maybe you are putting on a sleeve, let me know. If there is a sleeve, then just drop the sleeve the same amount or raise the cap height the same amount. But if you're not putting in a sleeve, then you don't have any correlation issues and it's not a problem. All right, very easy. You guys, when you ask the questions, I think you sometimes know that. I think you just need me to say, yep, that's right. What fabric would you recommend for classic work trousers? Possible pair with a jacket and a skirt for a three-piece suit. We've got a couple fabrics. Our blacks that we put up are absolutely stunning. There's a black that's called, I think it's called Black Perfection, It's got a little bit of stretch to it. Absolutely stunning. Just really, really beautiful. I usually always have a black up that is just really, really nice for jacket, pants, skirt, that whole base black ensemble. So look, I think it's called Black Perfection knit. And it's gorgeous. I mean, it really is gorgeous. We gave it to the ladies. There was 3 ladies in DC who were doing a challenge, and it was part of the fabric that I sent them. When ladies do the challenge, initially when we first started doing the challenge, we really started sending disgusting fabrics because we figured, hey, it was a challenge. But it's no fun to spend a whole bunch of time and energy on and then get nothing out of it. So I decided to upgrade the fabrics and send them nicer fabrics, and then they would really get to benefit from the garments they made. And it's still a challenge, and so that's what we started doing. And the garments they made were beautiful. The pants were just stunning, and all of them kept rubbing their pants and saying how nice they were. So that's a good thing. All right. Would I line a swing jacket if it was wax denim? If I did make the swing jacket and I did make it in wax denim, I did not line it. So would I? No, I don't think so. I think that it's just meant to be a really, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. It's really meant to be an accessory, that jacket. It's not a weather jacket, and I think because I'm not from the north, a jacket plays many different roles, if that's fair to say. I think in the north, jacket to y'all means warmth, but this jacket, that swing jacket, is really just a great accessory. It's meant to be worn open. Whatever's underneath should really take the cake, and that jacket is almost like a little wrap. So I wouldn't line it. I would think it would be a little bit more formal than what I think it should be, but you could line it. You could duplicate the pieces and absolutely line it if you wanted to. I need the rounded back adjustment that is a split in the upper back. How do I do it with a yoke pattern like 900 and 914? Well, you just use the yoke. You actually just add length to the yoke at center back and taper to nothing at the armhole. So you don't have, that's where the darts are. The only reason you have to split a back is because the darts have been pivoted to someplace else. With a yoke, the darts are still there. They're in that yoke line. So all you have to do is, you're adding length. So in adding length, all you have to do is add its center back at the yoke line, and then taper to nothing at the side seam, and that will give you the exact same end result. So when I say stuff like this, you guys, the goal is for you to really understand what you're doing, not just go through the semantics of actually doing it, but understand that when you split the back, you're adding length at the back that you're not adding at the armholes. So when you have a seam line, then use that seam line. So instead of splitting it, just add at the seam line at center back and taper to nothing at the armholes. All right, it should be easier. It should be easier mentally. On the swing coat jacket, I don't think I'm sewing the remainder of the collar correctly after edge stitching the stand. How much should overlap? Boy, I mean, that's going to have to be a personal question. Off the top of my, just email me, peggy@silhouettepatterns.com. Off the top of my head, I don't know stuff like that. I don't remember details like that. I'm not even sure what that's asking, to be honest. Sorry. But I mean, if it's real specific details like that on a pattern, we have over 100 patterns now. I just honestly don't remember all of them. Sorry about that, but I'm happy to help. Like I said, just email me, peggy@silhouettepatterns.com. All right, so how is everybody? It's spring. The country is really warming up. Even Boston is warming up a little bit. That's the good news. We have a lot of rain in this country. So hopefully, I'm thinking like it's raining all this week, and I'm just sitting behind my sewing machine and sewing because it's raining. That's what you're supposed to do when it's raining, and my book is sew. So I'm not sure what else you do if you don't sew, right? All right, so there are really a lot of fun styles out there. If there's any more questions that come in, we'll just entertain them like during the process, if that's okay. There's so many great styles out there right now. I don't know, and I know I sometimes say this a lot, but it's really exciting to see the spring clothes come in. I just love the colors. because there's always colors and there's always things they suggest. The Pantone colors this year are really terribly isolated to very few people. And if you went to the store, you really wouldn't even notice that those Pantone colors were in. There's so many other colors, and it just seems that we have a lot of freedom to do what we want, and I think that's nice. I think it's bad in one way is because we can look old easily, but in one way it's good because we don't have to stick to a few things. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do 875. I'm sorry, 875 is our pattern of the month. We've just really put it up and announced it, and really tomorrow I think is the official announcement. But anyway, 875 is the pattern of the month, and this pattern is really just a great little pattern. I really want to show you tonight why I did the pattern, what a great little pattern it is. You know, we have over 100 patterns of silhouettes patterns. I don't know how many exactly we have, but they all sell very well. They all do. If they don't, we don't reprint them. I think all of them have been reprinted. We have classics, and so because the lines are so classic, pattern 875 for instance is a pattern we've had for a while, and yet it's still just such a great pattern. So what I like about the pattern of the month club is it really gives me an opportunity to communicate to you how great the pattern is. Number one thing it is it's simplistic, and it was meant to be a little jacket or a little pullover that is really simple, but it still has princess seams, and so that fit is just amazing. So I want to show it to you in its original format. I don't have the one that's on the front, but this was a sample that I made some time ago, and it just always did really, really well. Anytime I took this sample, we call them gold samples. Anytime I took this sample to a show, it just did incredibly well. This is the Sherpa Suede. In this particular case, I made it exactly like the pattern is. It's a single layer in the front, and then of course there's a binding all the way around the garment. But in this particular case, because of the Sherpa Suede, I merely folded back the folded back the Sherpa onto the suede and top stitched. Now this is a faux Sherpa Suede, and you guys know this was popular a couple years ago. Some of you may still have this in your stash. This is still a great fabric. It's just a great fabric. It's easy to work with. 875 has princess seams in the front, princess seam in the back. It has a kimono sleeve. One of the reasons I used it as a pattern of the month for this month is we have so many new sewers coming into silhouette patterns, so many. This is just a great pattern for any level, and I'm going to show you different levels tonight. I'm going to keep it basic, and then we're going to kick it up a couple notches so that regardless of your sewing skills or your pattern skills, hopefully you'll venture into making it several different ways. It does have a little hood. Tonight in some cases we're going to leave it on, in some cases we're going to take it off. If you notice the pitch of the kimono, one big complaint about kimono sleeves is they have a lot of gapping because there is no seam in the armhole or in the bodice. There's no seam. Kimono meaning one. The sleeve and the bodice are one. Many women don't like that because it gives a lot of vertical folds right at the armpit. I learned a long time ago, I observed it in Armani, and I learned it from a lady at White Stag, that if you pitch the sleeve dramatically, then it alleviates a lot of these wrinkles because they're simply taken care of. So if you look at a pattern and the shoulder seam is pitched and it's quite straight from the shoulder seam, then once that sleeve goes down into play, you'll get a lot of wrinkles in through here. If you notice how severely pitched this is, it fits really nicely. For a kimono sleeve, which is limited in how well it fits because it doesn't have that seam, it really does fit nicely. Alright, so having said that, any two-sided fabric, the whole goal in showing you this is any two-sided fabric you're going to use is great in this because I don't need a facing. All I need to do is turn it to the opposite side and top stitch. The reason I had this on it is I actually made this in a long one. I don't have it here tonight. This is real Sherpa Suede, and I made it in this exact pattern. I lengthened it. It's absolutely stunning. What I did here is just so that you can see when you go to sew the real Sherpa Suede. We did this on a PBS, on a new PBS, and so all the PBS garments are not back yet, so that's why I don't have it here. But I did want to show you that this is the real suede Sherpa, and you can, when you go to cut it, you're just going to keep your scissors just right through the suede. Don't go actually through the fur itself. And then when you go to sew it back together, you put it and push the fur out of the way. So you can see that I can make a seam, and it's very difficult to even see that seam because the fur covers the seam. So anyway, it's just beautiful. So I use that pattern. It's very, very simple to use. And when you're looking for, and in general, when you're looking for a really complex fabric, or when you're dealing with a complex fabric like fur or border prints or anything like that, you want a very simple pattern. 875 becomes that simple pattern, but it doesn't sacrifice fit. I think that's one of the reasons I just really like it so much. Alright, and then this one down the road, this is a faux fur here, that minka, which is just, you know, wonderful to touch. You want to curl up and go to sleep. And then I finished this whole thing with just a trim all the way around, any kind of trim. A fold over trim is what I used in this case, but again, very quick and easy and simple to do. Okay, so now what I want to do is show you lots of variations. One of the things that's really popular for spring is open weave fabrics, I guess, open woven fabrics. I'm not sure exactly the terminology, but they literally are open woven. Now this is a fabric we have online, and this is called, it's a silk denim open weave. I don't remember the name of it, but it's just really beautiful. So the reason I'm showing you this is because I'm going to show you another one, and what I want you to understand about this is this kind of fabric is extremely stable. Even though it has, especially silk's a strong fiber, and when these are woven together, it's not going to stretch out of shape. It's just not going to, because everything is stable and held within. So I wanted you to see that even something like this could be done in a structured garment, which is why I put it in a jean jacket. But what I wanted to show you in pertaining to tonight's is this garment right here. I'm just going to pull it forward. And this is $8.75, and this is just beautiful. It's just really beautiful. Now, where I got the idea for this was a designer in Neiman Marcus. And I don't remember the name actually, which is surprising to me because I usually remember names, but I don't remember the name. But the little top, and it had the little fringe like what I did, and I'll show you how that's done. Literally is $1,700. Now, a lot of times I'll buy something and copy it and then take it back. Not at $1,700. I guess I'm too afraid that, you know, I might trip on the way in the house and spill water or something on it. But anyway, I wanted to show you how to create this. This is a fabric we have online, and this is called Knight's. I don't know, for some reason it kind of reminded me of Knight's, like, what's it called? Knight's open mesh weave. It kind of reminded me of like the Knight armors that they put chainmail. Chainmail, is that what it's called? Yeah, chainmail is kind of what it reminded me of. Just think it's beautiful. I just think it's so pretty. I'm sorry, tell me the fiber content, do you mind? I think it's a wool cotton blend. It's stunning. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, when I bought this, and my guy in New York said it was wool, I said, wool, why would it be wool? And it's simply to give the slub a characteristic that is just so uniquely beautiful. It's really stunningly beautiful. Now, also along with it, there's this beautiful, and I'm going to kind of turn this around so you can see it. There's this beautiful selvage along the side, and it's along both sides obviously. One side is a little prettier than the other side, but it's along both sides. So I used that selvage and I created the hood because I just really wanted to, I just thought that was just really pretty. It was almost like a necklace in the back. So I really liked that. I thought it was really beautiful, and I kept that along. So I didn't make any changes to the actual pattern. It's all just one layer. The only thing I did is open it a little bit lower, and then of course this is that the gunmetal clasp that I sewed on, so that you could wear it open if you wanted to, you know, maybe just to get a little more casual look, or if you wanted to close it, you could do that. Okay, so then what I did, and again, now I was copying this off of this, I'm going to pull this away for a little bit. I was copying this out of this designer in Neiman's, and it really just, I found this twine, and I mean, you could do rope, you could do anything, anywhere. and we'll get this up online because I bought the whole thing and we have enough of it and I'll just sell it for what I paid for it. But anyway, it really just looks like the fabric is woven and this is coming out of the fabric. It's just incredibly beautiful. I don't know what it looks like on camera, but it's really, really pretty. What you want to do is cut a half yard. Each strand is a half yard long, and you could make them different lengths if you wanted to. And then just like we've done in the past, where because of the open weave you can go in and go through and then come up and then tie a knot. You put the deal through the loop, you put the loop in, out, and then pull it, and then it ties around like so and then hangs. And then once it hung, I just kind of steamed it so that it went straight. So, and again, I copied this very close to what this was done. So there was basically three here, and then if you go to the next row there's another 3, and then so there's 3 rows of 3. Then if you go to the next row there's 3. Then if you start to go down there's 4, 4, and then 5 and 5. So you've got 3, and they're actually done fairly symmetrical, even though they look very asymmetrical. And like I said, they have just a really beautiful look to them. You could do very different colors, but it's really a great play on these open weaves as to find a yarn or a string or something that's a very similar color, because it almost looks like it's just woven out of the garment. It literally looks like that. I don't know if you can really see that on camera or how it looks, did you? But it's just really beautiful. Just really, really beautiful. Okay, so nothing was cut different with the jacket at all. Everything was cut exactly the same. I merely just flipped up the edges. The sleeve, I cut the length of the pattern and then rolled them a couple times. What I love about this is it certainly could be, the under t-shirt can be changed to where it looks completely different. So I like that. I like when I can take really an exterior and make it look different by what's worn underneath, and certainly in this particular case that definitely can be done. Oh, okay. Well, you're going to see like a little row of 3. Well, there's one strand. You're going to cut each of your strands in 16 inches long, a half yard. And so you'll notice that this is going to be 8 inches by the time it goes in, it comes up, and then you go through the loop and tie it, just like we've done on all the other things we've done. Go 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 5. There's 3 rows of 3, 2 rows of 4s, and 2 rows of 5s. If you have a Neiman close to you, go look at it. It's in the stores right now, and it's an Italian designer. I want to say it's Bruno Bagliano. I don't know the name. I don't know. I can't remember the name. I saw so many great things and I was snapping pictures and I got so excited I just can't remember who this was. I remember how it was done, but I couldn't remember who it was. Okay, so we'll put her away. And like I said, I think that is just the prettiest top. And just like I said, so simply done. This is all just finished with selvage. You notice I didn't put selvage here, just start at the clasp and go up and then tie this off. And I just tied it one night when I was kind of hanging out watching TV, relaxing, and before I knew it the whole thing was tied. Just cut your pieces 16 inches long, and then so they'll hang down 8. Now after they were done, I kind of went in and trimmed some up just to kind of give it a little bit of I don't know, messiness, unevenness, but that's kind of up to you guys if you want to do that or not. Okay, so then those are the only 2 I did like the pattern. Then I started changing up the pattern a little bit. I think. Let me see. No, I think I did this one like the pattern. Sorry, you guys. I did this one like the pattern. I just love this. I think this is just way cute. The only thing I did really on this is these are some fabrics. We've gotten so many fabrics from New York. It's going to take us a little while to get them in. Get them up, I should say. But this is 2 fabrics. They're both up because we just got them up today. So fortunately we got them just up in time. But you can see the border print. This is a like an ITY knit. It's absolutely gorgeous, and And what I did is I lengthened the tank top. And so the bottom of that tank top is straight, and so the border print works beautifully. When you lengthen the tank, you can see they match up at the sides just perfect. So all the way around is that border, and then the dress, you know, it's just a tank dress. Alright, so then this is the jacket, or this 875, this is still the same thing, is a raw silk. So there's a little, this is actually not an ITY. It feels like an ITY, but it's a viscose rayon or viscose spandex, I believe it is. The silk top, this is 100%, it's raw silk. Now before I go into that a little bit more, I want to talk about the raw silk, because there are different qualities of raw silk. So what I did is I always tell you, cut two pieces, wash one, compare it back, and then dry it and compare it back. And this actually really did not lose anything after the washer and after the dryer. There's the two compared together. One is a little bit smaller, but I honestly think it's just because of the raveling. I don't think it actually lost anything, because it's not any narrower. The ends lost because of how I had cut it. I probably sort of serged around it just to make sure. So this silk, you know, basically what that says to you is when it shrinks a lot, it's a lower quality. If the less shrinkage it is, means it was treated prior, and it's a little bit better quality. What I did lose in the washing and the drying process is the texture. The texture definitely changes. If you love the texture of the original, it's a little bit smoother. As you wash it and dry it, the texture becomes a little more raw. I guess that's why, hence the name raw silk. I don't know, but I mean, I can't. I got to tell you, I like both. They both have the sheen. I didn't lose the sheen, so I was really surprised to see. I guess I expected more shrinkage out of it. Or I guess I expected more change, but it is really beautiful. So what it really becomes to me, the reason I went into all that, is it becomes a very low maintenance jacket, is my point. Very quick to make. It just didn't take me that long at all. It takes me longer to come up with the ideas. Once the ideas hit, it doesn't take long to make the jacket. So this is $8.75. There's no changes to the jacket at all. The only thing I did do is when I was cutting out the pieces, and I'll show you this kind of in a little bit when we get to the pieces, instead of curving them in at the waist, I dropped them straight down so that I could put in this little drawstring, because I wanted the little grommets. And you can see I added a couple little grommets there, and I wanted the jacket itself to almost have a little blouson effect, because I wanted to wear it over the tank dress. These two fabrics, when I bought them in New York, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, but I knew I was going to do something together, because I just love the coloration together. If you look online, you can see this one is like a navy, and the blue, you know, the two blues together, and so I added the blue to this, and you know, just with the trim. So the trim just starts here, it goes around the hood. This seam on the hood I did with a French seam. It wouldn't matter if it was showing, it's not that big a deal, but I just did a French seam just so that on both sides it would be concealed. And then you can see this has just got a little guide inside. Now what I did is I just made the jacket exactly as normal. I put it on. I put pins where the waist was, measured up all the way around to make sure. I put a casing on the inside, and then went ahead and did the cord. The cord was navy, and then of course the trim was navy, and laced the cord through. I'm sorry. And then we have these little cord stops online. I use the little cord stops at the bottom to kind of pull that down. Love this look. I think it's casual. It's cute. Just quick. You talk about a jacket that's quick, that I think looks great. This is definitely the case in this particular case. Alright, any questions on that? What if it was dry cleaned? If it's dry cleaned, you really don't need any pre-treatment at all. It's not going to change at all. Even washing it really didn't change at all. It just changed the texture. So I think the difference to me is that this is a dressier look, whereas once it's washed, it gives it a more relaxed look, to where it almost says more casual. So I think it's really just depending on the look you want as to whether you decide which way you want it. Anyway, I think that's a great looking outfit. Just really quick, easy, and looks, I think, really nice. In both of those cases, or this one right here, on the sleeve, I left the sleeve the same length and rolled it twice to get the length. On this one here, I shortened it by 6 inches. So I just, on the pattern, I've got the pattern here because I'm going to do some pattern changes and I need you to see what it looks like. I just folded up that's the way the sleeve goes. So I just folded it up and taped it in place so that it would be shorter than what it was. And just measure the front and measure the back, measure the amount you're taping up to be the same, and you're good to go. Alright, we good with that one? I just serged the edge, tucked them under, and top stitched them on both the sleeve and the hem, in both cases. Yeah. On the inside of the grommets? You bet. The inside of the grommets, now keep in mind what I did is there's a casing on the inside. So that means there's a whole nother layer of fabric all the way around where the cording goes. A casing. I think you guys probably know what a casing is. So I took the casing all the way to the front so that when I put the grommet through, I was going through 2 layers just to give that grommet a little more security. And then the casing just comes out right before the grommet and then comes out through the grommet. It's the tank dress. You could use any dress. But I used the tank dress simply because the main thing I was going for is the border print along that fabric is 10 inches wide and it runs along the edge of the fabric. So it runs all the way around the edge of the fabric. So I wanted the border print to be straight. I wanted it to show and I wanted it to be straight. So I wanted a hem that was straight rather than flared because it is geometric and I just didn't want, I just didn't want it to be flared. You could, there's ways to do it. I just didn't want to. I wanted it to be straight. I wanted the side seams to match exactly, and so I just took the tank dress and lengthened it down. And then I put a little elastic waist in the casing of the tank dress. The tank dress is sleeveless. I left the tank dress sleeveless. You could put caps though. You could even put a little short sleeve. It wouldn't make any difference, and then you could wear the tank dress by itself. My thought was if I didn't wear this jacket with it, I would wear like a little sweater with it. I have a sweater that's almost that exact same color, and I have a navy sweater, so I could kind of switch it out if I wanted a little bit more casual look. But either way, I would wear something over it to where I didn't feel like any sleeve was necessary. For me, I didn't feel like any sleeve was necessary. How to do the sleeve cap on the tank dress. Alright, so I don't have a sleeve. Yeah, go back to our sleeves. We've done sleeves so many times. I'm trying to think how I can, because this has a kimono sleeve, it doesn't have a sleeve. When you're doing a cap, I'll just kind of draw it out. When you're doing a cap, you've got the sleeve top here, and then you've got the body of the sleeve. So a cap really means you're just using the cap of the sleeve. So that's from the cap line up. Technically that's what it means. It doesn't mean you can't use a little bit of the bottom, but generally it means that you're only using the upper portion of the sleeve and not the body of the sleeve. So when you have a cap sleeve, you should measure, here, this is a set-in sleeve, I'll use this. You should measure how much sleeve you want here and how much sleeve you want underneath the armhole. And then you simply mark that on your pattern and draw a line to connect the two. Sometimes cap sleeves don't even have a bottom. They literally only start right here and they only end right here. They only are the cap, literally, not the rest of the sleeve. So because a cap sleeve is so generic in terminology, lots of different styling falls under that line. So basically what you'd want to do is see something you like and then duplicate it. Does that help? No, I did not make the casing lower. It's not really a blouson. It's gathered. I did a blouson for the tank dress. Is that what you're asking? For the tank dress, here you guys, let me just differentiate because I think that something a red flag comes to my brain, okay? I don't want a jacket like this to be blouson. It's too heavy a fabric to blouson. It won't blouson well. The underneath fabric is. So when I did a little elastic casing on the underneath fabric, it can blouson, and it can blouson very easily, no problems. But don't make a stiff fabric try to blouson. It won't blouson, it'll stick out. Alright, so when I put the jacket on and decided where I wanted the casing, I didn't want a blouson, I just wanted the gathers. Alright? The dress, depending on your size, this is 60-inch wide fabric, so 1 to 2 yards. Again, just depending on your size. The border does run the length of the fabric, so in fact, you'll have enough border. The dress will go up and down, and this is stretch in both directions, so very easy to work with, very easy to do. It's a beautiful fabric. It's from France. We just got it in. It's absolutely gorgeous. And the color combination, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on internet or via internet, but it's really gorgeous. It's just really, really nice. I've been looking for raw silk for a long time, and then to find a fabric that goes with it was really exciting to me. I was like a kid in a candy store. Okay, so then what I wanted to do is I wanted to put a zipper up the front. Zippers are so popular that I wanted to put a zipper up the front. I decided in this style I wanted to ditch the hood. So you can see in this little jacket I just did that. The hood's gone. It's a little shawl collar, a little zip up the front. Notice the bottom is squared off because I just really wanted it to be a little jacket, but it's a very easy jacket, again, keep in mind, because it's a kimono sleeve. So, you know, your sewing time is like an hour. It's very, very quick. This little jacket fits really well. I can't imagine that you'll have a lot of fitting issues at all. Let's look at the pattern work for what this is, and then I'll go through this pattern. This fabric I did is a beautiful, I called it Monet watercolor or something along those lines. It looks like that. It just really looks like a pastel watercolor. It's beautiful. It's a stretch cotton. It's 100%. If you don't do a jacket, boy, I'd do a pair of, it's a twill. So it's like a denim weave, but it's not denim because it's not denim. But it is a stretch twill, gorgeous weight, really nice. Like I said, 100% cotton. So I want to show you the pattern work for this. And so I'm going to take, and in these cases when I do this, I actually make the pattern so that you can physically see what I did rather than just kind of telling you what I did. So here's the original. This is what the original pattern looks like. There's the hood, and there's the curved front, etc., etc. So all of this was copied. I'll start at the top. I still want the shawl collar, but I don't want the hood. So I only made this about 3 inches wide. It'd actually be 3 3/4 because it'd be 3 inches wide. 3 inches wide is what you need in a collar for it to come over and cover itself at center back, which is what I wanted. And then you need 2 seam allowances, 1 on each side. So I've got a seam allowance on this side, a seam allowance 3/8, 3/8 is 3/4, so this is 3 3/4 wide. So this is all here. This is all part of the pattern because this is what fits the back, this is what fits the shoulder seam, I'm sorry, and this is what fits the back, and this is the width that you want to do, and you're going to cut the rest of that collar off. Okay, so the rest of this I followed all the way down here, all the way down to here. Instead of the front of the pattern curves up, that styling, instead of curving it up, I brought it square over and square up to the front here, and you can see I squared it up. So I just squared up the whole, basically the style portion of the front and the bottom. And then what I did is I drew a design line that went from the shawl collar to that squared up portion. Now that's just on your French curve. You know, you can really use anywhere on your French curve. Typically I use this end of my French curve as I'm going there and connect those 2 lines. Okay? So the main things you really need to know is that I squared up the bottom, and this is 3 3/4 inches wide, and that will create the look of the shawl collar. And so what you get with the shawl collar is it will come up and come over itself and then curve around to the front. A couple weeks ago we did sewing a shawl collar on a YouTube, so it's really up there, it's easy to see, very easy to do, but it's a good visual so that you can watch and see how to do it and where to pivot, and it's very simple. Alright, so then I did go ahead and cut two facings, or two fronts. Once I made that pattern piece, I did two for the fronts and then two for the front facings, because if you're going to do a shawl collar like this, you're probably going to want to finish it somehow, so I went ahead and did a front facing. So I could also put the zipper in between the front and the front facing, so that I could do that. Whenever you have a print, my mind always goes to a print does not create a focus, and when you have a print you really need a focus. Otherwise your eye just keeps going everywhere. It gets lost almost. There's nothing to stop it. And so this was the reason for the piping. I put the piping in both the front princess seams, I put it in the back princess seams, and I put it in the center back. So it's really, I mean, I just love it. You can see that when you look at it, it just really stops the print. And it's just really beautiful. It gives it a nice vertical look. You don't need to overdo, you don't need to put it in the collar, you don't need to go crazy with it, but just put it in a couple places to where it visually stops the eye. And you can use, because of the color, I could have used many colors. I just chose to do what I did. The rest of it was all done on the machine, hemming it, everything. It's not lined. Very simple to do. Hood's gone, and you have a great little jacket. Just a great little jacket with a zipper up the front. Easy enough? Wash cotton. You throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer. You know, I love when we get into these really beautiful, durable fabrics that are just gorgeous, because they sew beautifully, they press, they handle, they're just fun to work with. They really are. Okay. The other version I wanted to show you, this is my knit version, because everything's been woven so far, but I really wanted to get it a knit version because there's no reason it can't be knit. You can get it off and on, and the mobility, because it's short sleeves, or you can make it short sleeves. You can use oh, I don't need to move it? Oh, sorry. Okay, so this is the knit. So there's a trend going on right now in spring clothing, where this asymmetric, you've seen a lot of asymmetric. You're seeing a lot of stuff that folds over in the front, folds over in the back. We've seen a lot of that, or I know I've showed you how to do all of that, but there's a lot of it in the store, and it's not inexpensive. So you guys, it's really easy to do, and it's a lot of fun to do. Eileen Fisher, numerous names, just have some really simple ideas out there that I really wanted to bring home to you. So thus this concept right here. This is $8.75. This is $8.75. I did it in this rayon grape knit. And this rayon, this is online. We've got a lot of different colors rayon, but this rayon, some of you say, oh, the rayon's too light a fabric, I don't like it. But it's just because you haven't found the right home for it, and this is the right home for it. So let me try to explain that. They're doing an asymmetric top now, where typically on an asymmetric top, one side goes to this side and one side goes to this other side, and you have the asymmetric. But they're doing asymmetric, but they're wearing it symmetrical. Nope, that doesn't make sense. They're doing asymmetric, but they're wearing it non-asymmetrical. How's that? And so let me show you what I'm saying, and I think you'll understand. So let's first look at the pattern work and recognize, though, that this is what rayons are perfect for when there's a lot of fabric in one area and the drape is just great. That's where the rayons really come into play. So again, I made the pattern. Let's look at the pattern. Don't go nutso on me, okay? Once you see the pattern, I'll show you how we get there, okay? This is the original pattern. Remember, I didn't really want a hood. What I wanted was a collar. Instead of the hood, I wanted to turn that hood into a collar, and so I'll walk you through and show you how I did that. Okay, so again, let's go back to here, because this is fit, and this is really important that we don't veer off of this. And this whole thing where it sews into the side panel, I could lengthen it like I did on my Sherpa Suede, but in this case that's not what I wanted. I just wanted asymmetric. So I traced here, I traced here, I traced here, and then really I could kind of have ditched the pattern. I really didn't need the pattern anymore. What I did here at the bottom is I squared it off. So down here I just squared it off. I brought it a little bit past center front because I wanted it to go up in an angle. And then if you notice, bam, I drew it all the way up to here, all the way up to the point of the hood at an angle. Squared it off that way and then connected this back to the width of the collar. So this doesn't want to change because that's the width of the shawl collar. But as far as how it goes up changes, and I'm actually not going to sew these seams. So what you're going to see is they're going to be open in the back like a collar. Okay, let's make sure we understand the pattern work. I traced this down to here. I just brought this square across, brought it all the way up the length of the hood up to this point, and then went square over to this hood edge just to connect it. This is a straight angle line. Does that make sense here? This right here is a straight angle line. Alright? Okay, so the effect you get now, and I mean, you can do it many different ways. You don't have to do it exactly like I did it, is that one side is worn, tightened, or tucked. I've got a button in here, and the other side is not attached. Eileen Fisher, there's another line that's called Freedom of the People, I believe is the name of the line. It's at Nordstrom's, Freedom of the People. They have a lot of great looking stuff, and their stuff is so unique and so weird. I love it. This is a great example though. If you notice now, the asymmetric is brought over here. This is asymmetric. This could be brought over here and worn like that, which is what's typically been done, but it's not being worn that way. It's literally just being left on top and worn on top, and it drapes. Now you could just put a pin through all of this and wear it with a pin there. I didn't put anything. I put a button underneath and just left that on top. I'm going to turn this around so you can see that this now just hangs like a collar. If I'd have sewn this together, you would have had a hood, but you don't sew that together. That's why I said just leave it open. And you have this coming open as a collar. You want to use a fabric that's two-sided, which is why I use the rayon, because both sides are good. It doesn't have to be two-sided. It has to be two sides that you like seeing, because a lot of people say to me, well, I like both of those sides, and if you like them, hey, it's your shirt, you get to use it, you know. So you'll see that on this side, it kind of pulls a little bit because it's coming over all the way over here, and so actually both sides are different. I'm hoping you all can see this. This is very cool. It's really pretty, and I've been seeing a lot of this in the stores where it's asymmetric, but actually both sides are not fastened to the appropriate side. One side is just left. Like I said, Eileen Fisher's got one out now that it's just beautiful. It's really pretty. At first I thought I would make a pattern, but then I thought there's no reason to make a pattern. Y'all don't need a pattern for that. You just need to recognize that you just fasten the one side and leave the rest hanging. And especially when it's on, your body fills up all of this stuff so it looks like this nice, beautiful collar. Very simple to do, very nicely done. But the hood turns into a collar now instead of being a hood, and it's this nice big collar. It's complicated? Is it? It's really not. How can I make it? Does it look complicated to you? Well, if I close it up, will it be easier for you? See, there's it closed. There's the asymmetric exactly as you've done it every time before, except now we're just not going to close up that one side, and it just drapes beautifully. It kind of, because the asymmetric is done at an angle like that I did, then when it drapes open it just kind of cascades down. It's just so pretty. And you could probably, if you are nervous about it, take something asymmetric that you have already and don't do both sides. Only do the underside and leave the top side open and let it hang so that you can kind of just see it. Remember, you guys, that initially when I do webcast, I do them for all different levels, so you know, don't be intimidated if you can't go at the top. Just kind of do what you can do and make it, and then you'll get more comfortable, especially once you make it. Once you make it and see how quick and easy the pattern is, it'll really give you a lot of confidence to move on. I just put a button underneath. Literally underneath, I just put a button, and that's it. There's a seam right there, so I put a little buttonhole into the seam and then fastened a button so it just buttons right in. But you could do many different ways. My gosh, there's so many great closures you could do there. You could do a pin. The sky's the limit as to what kind of closure you could do. We've got a little magnetic new closure that's fabulous. I don't know if you guys have looked at our new closures. That little magnetic closure would be gorgeous right there. It would just kind of pop together and hold it in place. Alright, are we good with that? Okay. Alright, so I've got a little bonus I want to give to you. Next time, in 2 weeks, we're going to talk about shears. Their shears are just penetrating the spring 2015. I cannot stay away from them. Tomorrow we'll start to put that shear DVD on sale. We'll put it down to $19.99. We'll get it done. We'll try to get it done tonight. But anyway, we'll send an email out tomorrow. We need to learn to work with shears. We've got a new DVD coming out probably next week, and we've got a couple tips on dealing with shears on that DVD that are new. But anyway, I want to show you what I have on. Okay? I don't know if y'all can see it, but I want to show you how to make this. Can they see it in the back? The layers? Can y'all see that? 2 layers? It's just really, really pretty. It's really pretty. Okay, so this is really easy, and you're going to make this. You're going to make your own pattern and everything. You're going to start with the circle. Alright, and the circle, you're going to pretend that this circle is, it can really be any size. The one I have on is 50 by 50. Big circle. So what I did is I took my fabric, this particular fabric that is online, we just put it up tonight. It's just so beautiful. I know you can't see how pretty this is, but it's really, really pretty. But anyway, we put it up online. It's 50 inches wide, so I took the whole width. I got 2 yards and then cut 50 inches long as well. Then I folded it in half. And then cut this semicircle. So what you want to make sure that both of these 2 edges are the same so that it's a nice circle. Got that? Okay, so you start off with a 50-inch circle. Now this is the STTS, or TSST top is what this is going to be called. The TSST. It's Sharon and Tony. But Sharon and Tony couldn't decide whose name should come first. So we called it the Tony Sharon Tony, TSST or SSTT. They were both arguing over whose name should go first, but they both had the top, and they gave me the numbers and let me copy it so that we could share it with you all. So thank you, Sharon and Tony. It is a beautiful top. You can do it out of so many great shears. You probably have shears. We have shears if you don't have shears. Okay, so once you've got it folded like this, and once you've got it folded like this, you're going to make the armholes. And you're going to, now in full scale, you're going to come in 6 inches from the center back. This would be the center back. If it was open like that, you could do it twice, but you don't want to do it twice. That's why I'm going to fold it this way. So you're only going to do once, you're going to make armholes. So 6 inches in, 6 inches up, you're going to cut this little baby armhole. So 6 inches up means the armhole will be 12 inches deep, which means it'll be 24 inches around. And it'll be 12 inches in from center back, 12 inches apart from one another. And this is what you'll end up with. Okay? Now you're going to finish all that. You can serge it, you can tuck it under, you can do whatever you want. But that's what it's going to look like. It looks like those feet clamps that those circles that hold things in. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to take this off and I'm going to show you that that's what I've got on. Alright, so there, oh gosh, wouldn't you know it, I get it turned inside out. Silly. Okay, so there you have it. See the little, it looks like a stingray with the little holes right there in the middle. Can they see that, Brett? Okay, so that's what it is. Now, when you put this thing on, and it doesn't have an up or down because you're literally right in the middle, the top part folds over. You put your hands in the little holes, and this top portion, which remember it's right in the middle, but by the time it forms a collar, it actually hangs higher than the back. Does that make sense? And it's just beautiful. It cascades down below. It's so pretty. This would be an amazing gift. If you're just trying to give somebody a thank you, you guys could make something just so beautiful. That's your gift. That's your gift from the DC ladies. STTS, STTS, who knows what. Hopefully Sharon and Tony have figured out whose name's going to go first, and all is good. All right. So, ladies, like I said, in a couple weeks, we're going to deal more with shears. There's lots of great little shears out there, lots of great things to do with them, and I really want to. They're a big part of the wardrobe right now. I don't want you to be nervous about them. I want you to, not get crazy, and let's do up shears. All right? Okay, so we've got a trivia question tonight. Yes? Do we have questions? No? You love it? Okay, good. Good, 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 good. Thanks, ladies. We appreciate you watching. And like I said, we're always trying to bring you something fun and new. And the good news is, because I go around and so many of you are so talented, I really just bring back what you all have, what you're so willing to share. So the wonderful thing is, because we just pull it all together, everybody benefits and has just some really great ideas. So thank you. Thank you all for being so generous. All right, so our trivia question tonight, do I read it or what do I do? All right, our trivia question tonight is, what day of the month, what's the date of the Red Nose event? What's the date of the Red Nose event? That's the trivia question. We have a winner? So there's three things to remember. The date, May 21st. What day of the week is that? Do you know? Can you find out? These noses are Thursday. It's a Thursday. These noses are not comfortable. Just an FYI. Three things to remember. The day of the month is May 21. It's a Thursday. You get them at Walgreens, corner of Healthy and Happy. I don't think that matters, but you get them at Walgreens. They cost $1. And the most important thing is that they'll help children who are in poverty. It's to help feed our children in poverty, and I think that's really important. Children, we all have kind of lots of different opinions on poverty and who's to blame, but there's no question those children, it is not their fault. They, who you get born to is kind of definitely not controllable. So it's, I don't know, children always pull my heartstrings. When it comes to helping children, Toys for Tots, we really help them a lot at Christmas time. I have a real soft spot in my heart for helping children because they just, through no fault of their own, are in situations. All right, ladies, we have much, much to be thankful and grateful for. We have a winner, yes? Barbara D. Congratulations, Barbara. Don't forget, you guys, get your nose. May 21. Are we back before May 21? We are. We're back 18th. We'll be back before the Red Nose Day. We'll remind you, okay? All right, so happy sewing to all of you. Thank you so much. We'll get all these fabrics up online. A new DVD coming out. Gosh, so much going on here. We have some new classes up. Let me know if we can help you, but mainly just keep sewing. Is that a deal? All right, happy sewing. Good night. Thanks for being here. Bye.